Welcome back. In exactly 7 days, America will choose a new president. This election, hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent by candidates and campaigns and advertising, hoping that theirs is the message that resonates with voters. And today on First at 4 Focus, we explore campaign ads and their content with Dan Highshutter-Rice, PhD, assistant professor in the Department of Advertising and Public Relations at Michigan State University. Thanks so much for joining us, Professor Highshutter-Rice.
Thank you for having me.
The campaign ads this election cycle have run the gamut, a lot of claims and accusations and promises. What is the history behind political ads?
Yeah. You can look back as far as Madison and Jefferson, and the content of their ads was actually incredibly negative. How they would talk about each other. So throughout history, the kind of the role of ads has always been to inform voters, to kind of help shape the election, try to raise the issues that each candidate thinks is important. And especially ones that they think that they're good at. So the parties tend to be associated with different policy issues, and so campaigns will use ads to try to inform voters about those issues and to kind of set themselves apart from their opponents. Negative ads themselves have been around for a really, really long time, though of course the tone and the tenor of them has changed quite a bit in the last 8 to 10 years.
And if you don't mind, explain for us how that tone and tenor has changed and what we're seeing in political ads today as opposed to a decade ago.
Yeah, so we typically, when I think of political ads, as like the attack ad, and so this is an ad where you're trying to discourage your opponent's supporters from voting for them. You're trying to encourage your supporters to come out and vote, kind of setting up these negative things will happen if this person comes into office. As of late, it's gotten quite a bit more vitriolic, and a lot of that has to do with kind of the ready access to the non-traditional political ads. So ads that we're going to see on YouTube before we watch a video, or on Facebook, or on X. And those ads don't have kind of the same controls and the same guidelines that typically a campaign will follow. They're ones that are put forward by PACs or by misinformation peddlers, and those tends to be far, far more negative. But I do also think it is kind of important too to kind of note that campaigns themselves can also be really, really, really negative. A really popular example that we talk about to our students, we talk about in our research, is the Willie Horton ad that was in 1988, which was an incredibly effective ad that attacking Michael Dukakis. So the negativity itself is certainly spreading due to where we get our information from, although the campaigns themselves are not immune to it, as we've seen both previously and also in this campaign with the Randall Terry ads, which are very graphic and very negative.
Yeah, let's talk about that ad. You mentioned the Randall Terry ad. It's an ad that's been running this political season. It comes with a disclaimer, and we are not going to show the ad because it's very graphic in nature. We've received dozens of complaints here at the television station about it, and I know you've seen it. Although the ad has a specific message about abortion, can political ads, when you think about that Randall Terry ad, go too far with how they get that message across?
Yeah, so Randall Terry is pretty clear that what he's trying to do is to take votes away from Kamala Harris. The Constitutional Party is not in every state, they're not on every ballot, so the odds of him becoming president are zero, and he will acknowledge that. And so the point of that ad is to try to attack Kamala Harris's candidacy. So the purpose of that ad is not a whole lot different than many other ads. What it's doing though is it's going I think really, really far extreme. So if we're thinking of a continuum of ads from a nice, this is my family, this is our dog, this is what we stand for, all the way out to the Randall Terry ads, he's really far in that extreme. And you're right. And what's tricky about these ads is that the federal government limits what television stations can do. You can't editorialize ads, you can't change them, you have to air ads by candidates. And so he's kind of taking advantage of that. What that type of ad typically will do is it's about kind of drawing people's emotions into it. When people are angry, when they're frustrated, when they're upset, they tend to be more politically active. And so by kind of evoking anger in voters, it makes them more likely to go out and vote. It makes them more likely to donate money. It makes them more likely to attend a rally. And so that ad is just kind of a one of many that's trying to evoke these emotions, but it's using these incredibly graphic, incredibly upsetting images to do that. My hope would be that this isn't a trend that we see in other campaigns, but it certainly is a tactic that is allowed and within the scope of the law, which is probably something that might need to be looked at.
Dan Highshutter-Rice, PhD, assistant professor in the Department of Advertising and Public Relations at MSU. Thanks so much for joining us today and exploring political ads with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.